right, good morning. We'll get started in just a moment. I hope this day finds you with light and love. Good morning. Welcome to this conversation. Today, I want to have a conversation about how we wind up not using the skills we have, the discipline we have to create our success. It's important to remember, shame isn't about what we did. It's about who we think we are. Avoidance is protection, not laziness. These are the stories we tell ourselves. We fear being seen using our gifts because our gifts are tied to our identity. And shame disrupts access to flow, to courage, and contribution. That's the theme of this morning's meditation. So grab some water, give your body a big stretch. We'll get started in just a moment. Today's conversation is about unshaming the gift we have and about reclaiming the skills we hide. It's important to understand what happens in the brain, the neuroscience, to help this meditation anchor in. You've heard me talk about the default mode network, the DMN. Shame activates the DMN and a part of the brain known as the anterior cingulate cortex, which is involved in error detection and social pain. We look to where things can go wrong and what it might feel like to stand out in a crowd. When shame is triggered, it inhibits your executive function. That's the prefrontal cortex. This is where strategy and strategic thought, creativity, and expressive output live. Think about what happens when we don't do the things we know. We set a big goal. We know we can go do the activities, the videos, the messaging, the posts, and then we don't do it. This is how shame slips in. We literally can't think clearly about our skills when shame is present. This is not resistance, it's a safety reflex. When we don't do the things we know we can do, it's not resistance. This is the brain literally doing the thing it was wired to do: protect you. That's the power of shame. So let's unshame our gifts. Let's allow them to step into the light. Let's allow ourselves to be seen. So I want you to become aware of when and how you feel or freeze around using your skills. If you're good at talking with people, what keeps you from talking to more people? If you're good at writing or sending a text, what keeps you from using that skill? So we're going to anchor back into the safety and the identity that's bigger than the moment of shame. We're going to call back your courage to contribute. That's what we do. Think about it. Feel it. When we go to expand our presence, expand our wealth, grow our audience, we are expanding our courage. We are giving other people hope, other people possibility. And because we're seen in a certain way, sometimes shame kicks in and causes us to freeze, to stop, to delay, to avoid. So let's do a little meditation. So let's start with a grounding breath. Let's really just settle our body, become fully aware. As you breathe in, feel your body arrive. Notice it. Feel your toes. Feel your fingers. Feel the back of your neck. Notice your hips as you breathe in and out. And on your next exhale, feel your body say, I am allowed to be here. As you breathe in, feel your body arrive. And as you breathe out, say to yourself, I am allowed to be here. Now bring your mind, bring your awareness to a skill you have, a skill you do, something you do that people compliment you on. Maybe it's your way with words. Maybe it's your leadership. Maybe it's your ability to solve problems. Become aware of the skill that people compliment you about. Now gently notice in your body, where do you feel that small pullback, that hesitation? It's not resistance. Where do you feel that little hitch when people compliment you on the thing you do well, the skill you have, the talent you do almost effortlessly? And people say, "That's amazing." Notice in your body, where does it resist? That's not resistance. That's shame. It's a voice of an old contract. If I show this part of me, I might I might lose love. I might be laughed at. I might be misunderstood. Remember, we're addressing an old contract, an agreement you made with someone or something years ago, decades ago. Let's speak to that younger self, the one who wrote the contract. I'm not here to perform, I'm here to express. Let that younger self know you weren't here to perform. It was simply your expression. I'm not here to impress. I'm here to serve. Say this: I am safe to be seen using my gift. So let this float into your mind. Let these words echo into your subconscious. I unashame this skill. This gift is not dangerous. The world benefits when I allow myself to flow. I unashame this skill. This gift is not dangerous. The world benefits when I allow myself to flow. Feel that in this moment. Become aware that understanding that avoidance was never failure, it was survival. And now you no longer need to avoid your gift, avoid your success. You are now safe. Feel that in your body. A knowing and understanding that when you use your gift, you are accepted. You are needed. You are wanted. You're safe. Feel that. And as we bring this to a close, I'd ask if you could place a hand or both hands over your heart and a deep breath, and recommit to your contribution. Recommit to expanding your courage. Invite yourself to see You in motion, using this skill, no audience, just your presence, using this ability, this talent, this gift you've been given. Feel that, understand that, and know that you have just allowed yourself to remember your gift. So take another big breath. Relax into your present moment. Become aware, not just awake yet, but aware that you've embodied and integrated new ideas. And as you come back into the room, back to the rhythm of your breath, feel that subtle shift. Feel that space where shame once sat, now a little bit lighter, a little bit more energetic. You've just walked through an inner door. In your own mind's universe, you gave a voice to that part of you that was silenced. That part of you that was silenced can now speak, can now have connection with you, the awareness. You've honored the intelligence behind your avoidance, not the shame. And you reminded your nervous system, I don't have to hide what's sacred to me to stay safe. I do not have to hide what's sacred in me to stay safe. Feel that. You may feel a little soft uneasiness. This is expansion, not fear. You're walking into visibility. It's not a discomfort. Let that uneasiness be a signpost, be a signal that says, I'm near my gift. This is where I'm meant to show up. So remember, you have a community. Reach out. Become aware. Use your tools. Pick up a project you've abandoned. Use the skill you've been neglecting. These are echoes of permission returning to you. Follow them gently. Take another big breath. Come back into this state. Hear these words, my gift is safe. Avoidance was a form of protection, not betrayal. I now allow flow where I once feared exposure. Awaken better and better every day, every way. More focus, more attention to you, the amazing soul you are. And as you awaken, look for things that are blue in your world. Feel your body stretch. It's time to say yes to you. Good morning. We'll get started in just a moment.
Wide awake while the world is sound asleep, and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories that somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows.
God only knows. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, what'd you learn? What'd you like? What was your takeaway? Any ahas or oh boys or yeehaws? Good morning, good morning, good morning. The challenge with discussing shame and finding ways to reset it, to awaken your higher energy, your higher spirit, to uncover the one that was covered by shame, create shame. So it's a tightrope at best. And the feelings of the energy, of the confusion, of the concern, it's there. It's absolutely there. Can we approach it in such a way that says, isn't that fascinating? That was a version of me. That was a part of me that used to operate in that field and in that way. Hey, good morning, AJ. Let's go to Serbia.
Hey, just to follow up on yesterday.
Yeah.
Listen, this is major alert, dude. Okay. I haven't felt like that in years. I mean, I think the last time I felt like that um was when we started this personal development work. I mean, I would just get so lost and then an hour would just pass by in a split of a second. Kind of discovering and then thinking about the answers, and then as you said, when you answer the questions they give you, you slow down your thinking and you kind of craft the idea, and then you start with the answers and so on and so forth. And then you think, well, is this really that, or am I not saying something because of something else? And then you kind of think about every single answer. You think and think and think, and listen, half an hour, hour and a half goes by like that, and it just feels so good, man. Really does. And I just wanted to follow up on that and say thank you.
You're
Because
welcome,
it's
welcome,
it's
welcome.
it's real good.
So here's a question. How many cells in your body do you think got engaged?
All of them.
That's
Everybody.
why it happened so rapidly. Right? That's when you were absolutely literally, if you say that time went like that, this is where we have a significant it's sometimes very challenging for people to understand. It didn't go fast. We slowed down time.
Get hot.
So here's what happens in meditation. In meditation, you can create a scene in your body. You can create a scene in your universe that says, in the next 10 minutes, I will spend a year's worth of energy in focus. And you can collapse a year's worth of time into 10 minutes. One of the things that made Edison so good at building equipment is he would literally build the piece of equipment in his mind. And this is how he tested equipment before we had CAD and technology where it could run all of the parameters. He ran these things in his mind, and he'd be in the middle of dinner, and he'd go, "Whoa!" And a bearing just failed in a motor he was running in his mind. And he'd say, I have to go to the lab. Why? He says a piece of equipment just failed. You don't have any equipment. And he would go disassemble the piece of equipment in his mind, and he would see where the bearing failed, and he would make the upgrades to the bearing, and the bearings used to last for a decade. Now they last for a few years. They built in failure to them, because if you know how to build something to become unstoppable, you build in failure so that you'll sell the part again. Does that make sense? It's kind of like some of our medical treatments are to continually to support, not fix the remedy. So when you start to go into these questions, sometimes, I'll speak for myself, sometimes the solutions I get are to fix the moment, not the mission. I win the battle, I win the battle, but lose the war. I'm always looking at one of the shifts I made is I'm not interested in the battle. I'm interested in the war, which is when I went from what my goals would be in my lifetime to a legacy of 600 generations. What happens today? Not a huge dilemma for me. What I do today to build the legacy for 600 generations, pretty big deal. So how far out do your answers take you? And again, this is another layer. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was moving forward. I was there. You did. You've quantum leaped in 5 months. But
There was definitely. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
There was definitely, again, some memories that popped up that I haven't thought about in a decade, probably. And at one point, as the questions go, and as chat kind of starts beating on you hard, I started thinking, and listen, I told it exactly what you told me to tell it, which was to interview me from a place where it doesn't care about emotions. It's, giving me tough love. And by the way, the chat named our chat, it named it AJ Tough Love Interviewed, which is so interesting. And listen, the questions, they go, I'm just reading, some of them. Not gonna take too much time, but just to read some of them. So it started off with, tell me. So this is the first question.
Hang on. You hold on to the first question. I need to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What part of you didn't want to take time? Which part of you that shame just showed up and said, well, I don't want to hog the conversation?
It's because I realized that I take a lot of time in the last couple of days.
Hang on. Did you steal it from somebody?
Oh, I mean, I just raised my hand to start talking.
Right. So are you the only one allowed to do that?
No.
So this is what happens when you start to lead. You start to feel inferior, going, well, I feel like I'm the one that's always doing that. Nobody else stopped. They know we're going to, at the end of the call, there's a pattern that happens for the last 2,000 episodes. I do a meditation, a training, a conversation. Hey, what'd you learn? What'd you like? You can have your hand raised from the moment we start the call. The fact that you raised your hand, don't feel bad about raising your hand. Well, I don't want to take up too much time. Screw that. You're taking up all the time. If somebody else wants to raise their hand, they can raise their hand. This is what happens when shame shows up. Oh, well, I'm getting too much. Compared to what?
Yeah.
Just saying, this is how it sneaks in.
That's exactly how I feel
Yes, I know
because
that's how you
it's
feel. And so this,
over the
but the key is that here's the other question. Do you believe that you might be a little bit more advanced in some of the things you're doing than other people on the call?
uh putting me on the spot here, Your Honor.
The answer is
Okay.
yes. The answer is yes,
Yes.
because you're
Okay.
doing the work. You're using chat. People are going, oh, how do you, well, how's AJ using Chat GPT? Do you think people are going to learn from our conversation? Do you think you're going to teach people because you're asking the questions they haven't asked? Are you going to help people quantum leap because you've gone through the ditches and the slugging and the mud and the this and the that, and now you're saying, hey, listen, you can go have Chat GPT interview you? Are they going to learn that?
I hope
Is it
so.
possible? Okay, so you're responsible to them, not for them. So what if every time you open your mouth, it's a training to help people get to where you are? Don't you want people to get to where you are?
Yeah.
So then suck it up and don't feel bad. If you're leading, and this is shame. This is not resistance. This isn't about ego. This is shame, period. End of story. This is addiction to approval. Well, every day I get on, nobody else is talking, and I got some questions and I want to ask them. That's not, there's nothing wrong with that. For any of you, there's nothing wrong with that. And this isn't to make you, and if so, here's the other thing that's kicking in right now. Those that are listening to this are going, well, now I feel bad I didn't talk. That's shame. I feel bad I didn't raise my hand. That's shame. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. That's about who you were. Don't tell me where you've been. Tell me where you're going. And it's okay. That's what happens when we talk about shame. We trigger it. It's literally like saying everybody's got sunburn. Let's go stand at the end of the boardwalk. I can't. It's too painful. I got to wear an umbrella, and everybody else doesn't have an umbrella. Why do you have an umbrella? Because the sun's too hot. Shame is too strong. I don't want to talk about it. Listen, this is for everybody, and then we're going back to AJ's first question. Is there any shame in the future? Is there any shame in tomorrow? Is there any shame in Saturday right now? Right now, is there any shame in Saturday, or do you bring it with you?
We'd bring it with us.
Then what the hell are you packing that bag for? Because we don't know any better. We think it's part of who we are. We wake up in the morning, we go, I got my toothbrush, I wash my face. Where's my shame bag?
Oh my.
Where's my shame bag? Holy shit, somebody took one of my shame bags. I left my shame bag at TSA. I got to go back. And we cause delay. We cause frustration. We hold on to our shame bag more than we hold on to our riches. See, now that we start to look at it that way and we're actually talking about shame, we can have a conversation about it versus, oh, I don't have shame. I don't feel shamed. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Bullshit, talkie. You care what you think about you. Anyways, what's your first question, AJ? Back to Serbia.
Sure thing, man. So
That
starts
makes
off,
sense. Does that make sense, brother?
that makes a lot of sense. It's I felt like this sometime.
All
I'm
the
pretty
time,
sure.
not sometimes, all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm pretty sure we already talked about it, specifically about this some time ago. It's yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
Anyhow,
now you're catapulting again.
yeah.
So what's the first question it asked you that it kicked you in the teeth?
Boy, starts off like Mike Tyson, man. The first question is tell me exactly who you are when no one's watching.
Hang
So
on,
the
hang on.
answer,
Let people write that question down because nobody's going to ask that question. But that's a good
all right,
question. Repeat that question.
tell me exactly who you are when no one's watching. Let me actually connect my other earpiece. This is going to be a lot better. Hold on just one second. A lot better. Alrighty,
Mr.
tell me
Tech.
exactly, Mr. Tech. This is my sales thing. I do work on these,
Yep.
and these are my kind of entertainment ones.
Hmm. When you're kicking it.
Yes, sir. Okay, so tell me exactly who you are when no one's watching. By the way,
I'd suggest everybody write down. That is $1 million question.
my answer is like yay big in my
Mhm.
notes app. It's like 6. It's like 30 lines, I think, text or whatever. Huge. And then
And
straight out of
now if you go back and answer that question again, it's different. It'll be different. Because awareness changes the answer. The question doesn't change. Who reads the question changes. So when you all look at that note on your paper, that one question, tell me exactly who you are when no one's watching. Most of you won't answer that question. Because the one who answers it is the one who's watching. So what's the second question?
second question straight out of Emperor Road, surely. What patterns do you notice when you're sabotaging yourself?
That's good.
Take that, buddy. You know what I did? Just a small digression here. After these questions, popped up, I thought about what you said, which was who was asking these questions? Was it chat? Was it, are they asking these questions to make me, feel comfortable, just as you said, and so on? And I said, because the chat already knows about you, I asked the chat, hey chat, listen, are these questions the same questions that SGM would ask me, taking into consideration he's my mentor and he wants me to go forward and to move forward. And he doesn't want me to feel comfortable. He doesn't care about my emotions. He cares about me propelling forward. And chat said, yes, absolutely. These are questions that your mentor would ask you because pop, 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 pop. So it was real it was wholesome. Then the third question, and actually, by the way, so one more time, second question, what patterns do you notice when you're sabotaging yourself?
Boy, that just takes some, and this is what's called facilitated introspection. Facilitated introspection. We can look at ourselves, and what do we normally, when we look at ourselves, when we look at how we struggle and fail and falter and succeed, and we study failure more than we ever study success. You can tell me 1,000 reasons why you fail. You can't tell me 100 why you succeed. So facilitated introspection means the brain is wired to answer a question. We're just afraid to ask the question. We can't even come up with the question about why we sabotage. Why do I do that? And then we just leave it hanging in the air. Oh, I'm such an idiot. You should ask the next question. Why do you think that? We just leave, I'm such an idiot. We leave it as a statement, not as an inquiry. Oh, you're such a fool. You always fall for that. Who falls for that? If you're always saying, I'm an idiot, well, who's not the idiot? Oh, I always do that. Who's the one that doesn't do that? It just proves we are this duplexity and this duplicity and this multi-personality, multi-universal individual who operates in a variety of vibrations at all kinds of levels. So what was the third question?
Oh boy. Question number 3. And if you haven't fastened your seatbelts yet, now's the time, folks.
We're about to pull the ejection seat.
we're about to catapult. Question number 3 is, when do you lie to yourself the most? Gippy, this was my little thing that measures my heart rate and everything. Alarms went on, man. When do you lie yourself the most? Wow, that's yeah.
Simple question. Simple question. That's called mental toughness. So when do you lie to yourself the most? I don't lie to myself. Okay. How's that working for you?
How's that working for? Well, actually, my answer was I think when I look in the mirror and say, well, I don't look that fat. And then I started going a little bit deeper, and I said, when I say to myself I'm not good enough, or I'm not successful enough, or I'm just not being enough in any field, I know that I'm struggling with that sometimes. Oh yeah. I said I often tell stories in a sarcastic way, but that
Mm-hmm.
are still negative. I still say negative stuff out loud. I said that.
Isn't that fascinating?
That was fascinating. And at one point after going, so this is question number 3. I was already taking a lot of punches, and then
A lot of body blows.
a lot of body blows, and then came the Mike Tyson right uppercut. And question number 4, and this one I wanted to puke, was question number 4. What is the voice in your head saying when you're about to do something great?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Keep yourself paced, kids. Uh, and then question number 5. So at this point, I lost my shiitake. Okay. The question number 5, I totally lost it. Because question number 5 is, what are you emotionally addicted to that keeps you trapped? And the answer was gaping. It's huge. It's like one of them Subway footlongs. Huge. Um,
Read the question again.
so just from the start, once again, so question number 1, tell me exactly who you are when no one's watching. Question number 2, what patterns do you notice when you're sabotaging yourself? Question number 3, when do you lie to yourself the most? Question number 4, what is the voice in your head saying when you're about to do something great? Question number 5, what are you emotionally addicted to that keeps you trapped? And then
So
here's a fun,
for those of you who are writing down these questions are going to say, listen, I'm going to go answer these questions. You have to give yourself some space. You have to literally become the reporter, because the one who hears the question cannot answer the question, because your shame is kicked in full time. To hear all 5 of those questions, to look at that paper and know that you're going to spend time doing internal investigation, some facilitated introspection. What's the outcome of it? You have to do your DMP on this. And your DMP is that if I get through these 5 questions, I will have a new awareness and a freedom that I've never experienced. I will have an understanding and an explanation that I've never had before. If you dive into these questions and you seriously take time and you revisit them once a week, once a month, in the beginning, I would visit them once a week, because you are going to really slug through the mud and the fear and the anxiety. Go as the reporter. Put your reporter's hat on and put you, the one who's doing the inquiry, over on the left-hand side, and put the you that's being questioned on the right-hand side, and watch the dialogue between the two, and allow yourself to have an experience of being the reporter of how the highest energy of yourself can answer the question, while the one who is shamed, who is feared, who is fearful, resists the question. Allow the you're becoming to love the one who's hearing the question. Much like you teach a 2-year-old or a first grader who's struggling at math. I'm no good at this. Everybody says I'm an idiot. They say I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too this, or spelling. Mine was spelling. It's still spelling. Some of you know. Oh, well, that's Sean's post because it's misspelled. There was no, it didn't matter that I was a good guy, a tall guy, a nice guy that was respected by my teachers all the time. I honored and respected everybody around me. I could not spell, and therefore that was one of the biggest things that led me to challenges. Now I realize I'm going to get good at what I'm good at, and the things I'm not good at. Here's what the headmaster, some of you know this story. My parents went in senior year of high school and said, he still can't spell. And the headmaster, this is a very fine high school. The headmaster said to my parents, we would like to inform you that we feel very confident in Sean's spelling ability because he'll have people that work for him that know how to spell. We're not fearful of. That's why we stopped grading him on spelling in the school. He's the only one we ever stopped grading on spelling. He will be such an entrepreneur that he will have, he fulfills the quality of a good human who brings value to the world. And my mom left saying, the hell did we go to this school for? Thinking that, because her whole goal was to get me to spell. Didn't work. Sorry, Skippy, that didn't work. So as you go be the interviewer, go get good at what you're good at. Don't try to get good at what you're average at. So now that you've had this realization, how much time did you spend, AJ, doing this?
Here's what's interesting. These are 5. So there's another question.
Yeah,
There's
go
6
ahead.
questions in round. This is round 1.
Right.
There's 4 rounds. And here's what's interesting. And here's a question that I wanted to ask you today. Question number 6.
Yeah.
States, what version of you are you afraid to become and why? And the interesting point here is that I wrote down, quote, nothing comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was on this for maybe an hour, and I realized that it's not true that nothing comes to mind. It's just that I've been pounding at myself for an hour, which is something I haven't done in God knows how, maybe even ever, like
Right.
this, deep like this. And maybe that was kind of a
So
plateau
what's the
that I need
question
to.
again?
The question, so question number 6, what version of you are you afraid to become and why?
So 23-year-old successful Serbian guy, you see him sitting at the table across, he's sitting at how big is the restaurant? How many tables away is the farthest table from you?
It's like the second one. So there's one and then the second one.
Okay, so 2 tables away is another amazingly productive kid that you see who's a year younger than you. And you see the skills, you see the talent, you hear the stories, you're like, this kid, he's got it, but he's missing the one thing. What'd be the one thing you'd say that 22-year-old is missing? He's got a very similar story to yours. He's got a different end game, but he is just struggling. He's beating himself up, and you're like, dude, it's just this little tweak. What's the little tweak you'd suggest to him? See what's happening in his body? His left side is being activated. That's the
What would I say to
vulnerable
this
side.
guy?
Yeah. So what would you say to that guy? What would you say to him lovingly, caringly, to help him expand his capability so he doesn't have to suffer? He doesn't know he's suffering right now. He's struggling. See, there's a big difference between suffer and struggle. Suffering, we repeat. Struggle, I'm going to get through. Struggle is I got to change the tire. I'll eventually change the tire. Suffering is I wind up with a flat tire for the rest of my life. That's suffering. So what's the suffering he's going through that he thinks is struggle? You know it. It's the 22-year-old version of you. What's the struggling you went through that you go, dude, here's what you need to do. Suck it up and do this. Oh. What is it?
Oh, here's a mini awareness I just got.
Oh, wow. Huh.
As you were talking, I was kind of in panic mode thinking about an answer because I wanted to give you the right answer. It was kind of blocking me in the same way. Because I don't want to be wrong.
Right. So write down this word, perfectionism.
Yeah.
That's the biggest deal. That's the biggest sin most of us have. I don't want to say all of us. Most of us have this big challenge of perfectionism. I got to be right. Which is why I have the phrase, done is the new perfect. So rather than the right answer, what would be a couple answers you'd give to him? What would be a couple of observations you'd give that kid?
The first thing I'd say to this guy is change the way you look at things, and things you look at change.
And he's going to go, what the does that mean?
Yeah.
It means a lot to you now, doesn't it?
It means hell of a lot to me now.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean a damn thing to him. It's the first time he's ever heard that. What's it? How many times is his head going to explode before you finish that sentence?
Probably a couple. There's gonna be some swearing involved. Uh,
It's true. That's the best answer. That's the only answer you need to give him. You've got a couple other good ones up your sleeve. It's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way. But all of this means something to you now, and it didn't mean anything to you when I first started saying it, but I haven't stopped saying it. Because every time you hear it, it changes the way you hear it. So he's going to ask, what does that mean? Have him break it down, have him write it down. They got to do the work. That kid you're about to go talk to has to do some internal work. The only reason this stuff makes sense to you now is because you've done the internal work. That's the thing he's missing. So the version of you that you're afraid to show up, or that you think is, what was the sixth question? What was number 6?
what version of you are you afraid to become? Oh, I get it now.
Oh,
I would say to him, okay, picture whatever you are struggling with. Just picture that one thing. It doesn't have to be all of them at once. Just let's do it one by one.
oh,
Picture the
wow.
one
So
thing.
you're really getting them to focus. Okay, good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Picture that one thing, okay? And then down the road, 10, 15, 20 years away from now, you're this guy that made stuff happen, good stuff happen. So obviously for you to become that guy, it means that you had to overcome this challenge. So think about the answer that he would give you on how you got there. There you go. That's
So what's the version of you? What's the version of you you're afraid to show up? Who are you afraid of becoming?
sucker. Uh, I knew this was gonna backfire. uh, uh, let's see here.
The one that's seen.
Yeah, the one
How many
with all
people? How
eyes
many
on
people
him.
in the restaurant? How many people in the restaurant right now, other than the
Two.
veteran
So
brother?
there's just one more guy that's like
How
the
many? How
closest
many
neighbor.
customers? How many customers?
Just me.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Why would you go
just me,
anyplace
Skippy.
else that you'd be seen?
Just me, Skippy, over here.
Yeah,
So nobody outside as well. Just
yeah, yeah.
just me
So
over
you're
here.
already you're that
Hold
person.
on, that's yeah.
So what happens if all of a sudden 10 people come in?
Oh,
How fast
shoot.
does shame kick in?
They have one guy outside.
Okay.
Have one guy. Oh, the shame would kick in nanoseconds, I think. Probably.
So what's the guy outside eating?
He's not eating anything. He's having the beer, I think. Yeah. He has a cold one.
Okay. So you ready for an upgrade?
Yes, sir.
So who would go if he ordered another beer, how would he get it? Would somebody from inside take it out?
Yep.
So what if you suggested, here's a suggestion, doesn't have to be followed. What if you asked the sister or whoever would take the beer out, hey, listen, he's got to be doing something right to have the day off on Friday. Is today Friday?
Yeah. Yep. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
he's got to be doing something to be here at a Friday at 2:00. What time is it there?
Yep, 2 o'clock.
Okay. A Friday at 2:00, him and I are the only ones here. I'd like to buy him a beer and just say, hey, listen, whatever you're doing, tell him whatever he's doing in life, it must be working. How's big is the knot in your gut right now?
uh yeah. Sucker. I knew I was gonna get sucked into some here. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, this guy is on I'd say this guy is like maybe 50-ish.
Okay.
40, 50, yeah, 50 maybe. Yeah. Well,
So here's the real question. Who do you become? Who are you afraid of becoming if you sent him the beer? This guy look at his notebook.
what was that? You said something? I would be the
So what?
weird guy,
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
weird guy, but buying people beer in the restaurant. So no, yeah,
But see, that's the definition. Weird guy buying a beer.
yeah, that's shame right there.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Could you afford the beer?
Absolutely.
Okay. Could you afford the love?
You think you're smart now? Okay. You think just
Here's an
because you're
opportunity to expand. Listen, he could throw the beer through the window. Who knows what he's going to do?
You know what I do recently?
Yeah, no, here we go. What? Go ahead.
I misplaced the blame from me to you
Yeah,
because
no,
because
really.
what I do is if I do some that's not that people are not accustomed to me doing that, and they say, "Whoa, hey there, John Wayne, what are you doing?" And I'm like, listen, Sean said that I gotta, so they
And
be
that's
like,
perfectly fine. It's called
this
finding
Sean
the
guy.
common enemy.
Yeah. And all of them be like, who's this Sean guy? The guy that I went uh the States.
Oh,
And
so
I was
he's
like,
a cult.
oh, that guy is a Satanist or something. I'm like, no, he's interesting, but he's not.
He definitely knocks on his door every now and then, tells him to leave.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then I tell them, well, he was late to the call yesterday because he was running off wild dogs with a shotgun on his range. And they're like, oh, okay. Is that kind of a party?
That kind
I'd
of
be
a
like, oh,
party.
yeah, okay. All right. Oh, can you afford the love? Wow, that's interesting.
So, do they have the beer in the restaurant?
Yep, they have
Do they have
multitude of
glasses?
those. Yep.
Yeah. If you asked them, would they take a beer out there?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so when are you going to ask them?
Yeah, the guy that wants to be seen. Well, you guys are gonna have a Serbian masterclass right about now. Okay. All right. That's not. Daj, molim te, Zokiju čoveku ovde poduplaj šta imaju. Daj im, znači šta imaju sad opet. A komšija mora još jednu kafu, čovjek misli da pije pivo. Kako? Neki sok onda, šta god. Ok, kisela i vamo čovjek šta pije pivo, dajmo još jedno. I to je to za sad. Ok? Molim? Pa okrenut celu kafanu, ali samo nas trojica ima sad, tako da to je malo zanimljivo, ali ok. Da, pa koriste, pa svaki dan dolazi, možete da koristite svaki dan. Da. Ok, eto, rešili smo.
So she said, what am I supposed to say?
What was that?
Well, she said, what am I supposed to tell him? What do I tell him about the beer?
Oh, she had an expression on her face like I told her I had cancer, man. She was like, what? I mean, she looked at me like I told her I just had stage 3 colon cancer or something. Crazy.
Oh, you see why it's hard? Listen, so part of you knew knew your culture. How many of you know your environment? Pay attention. Again, master class. He said he was going to give a Serbian master class. Here's a Serbian master class. I'm just happen to be the interpreter. When he said, I want you to go out and give a gift, do you think the woman whoever's going to go give the gift is going to be loved? Because that's the only place the person can say thank you to. So by forcing them to go give a beer that they didn't order, that they aren't do the thank you, they're going to be forced into a place of giving thank you. It's like, hey, I just delivering the beer. Oh, well, thank you. Well, tell them thank you. Now they got to bring the thank you back. They are not programmed for that. And subconsciously, you knew your culture wasn't going to be ready for that. You're like, shit, I'll give the guy a beer. I'll go pour the beer myself. It'd be a hell of a lot easier. Now I've got to explain who I am, why I'm doing something totally against our culture. to go give a stranger a beer? What this is? Are you okay?
Yeah, that's exactly what went on in here before you said that. That's like word to word. That's exactly 100%. Um, Actually, I think that's one of the struggles I had overall since I started on this journey because
We're just getting warmed up.
this this stuff, this mentoring for Zooms, meetings, talking about progress in life and whatever, that's an American thing. Okay, that's not even a European thing, let alone a Serbian thing. That's like
Right.
totally on the opposite spectrum. And that's, I think, one of the biggest struggles I had overall. So
Mhm.
when you used to ask me to go out there and send 100 thank yous a day and send 3 messages to 3 people a day and so on and so forth, I had such a resistance because it's just not something that you do, you know? Because I was looking at this guy, this was like, whoa, what the, who gets me a whatever. That's very interesting.
So what happens if all of a sudden what you started today became a cultural norm a generation from now?
I think the country overall would be in a lot better place than it is right now. So
Do you think there'd be less children crying at night?
definitely,
So maybe this was the start of it. Who knows?
there would be a lot less people overall struggling, I think. Because yeah, Serbian people are specific.
So did you do anything against humanity?
No,
So you decided to serve the world in a better place where you were with what you do, with what you could, how you could, when you could. That's called being present. That's called being the one who influences your environment, not let your environment influence you. You just broke protocol in your own story about you infected your reality. See, your reality was infecting you until I said, "So when are you going to do it?" You're like, "Shit, he's not going to let me go." And if I have a technical problem and I turn the internet off, he's going to give me shit like you wouldn't believe, and I know it, and I just have to suck it up, and I just got to go do it. Excuse me. Holy crap! I'm gonna sweat. I'm dying over here.
yeah, I'm dying.
A beer. How much was a
Okay.
beer? How much was a beer?
I don't know, like $2 or whatever. Yeah, but I think $2
So
or
do you
maybe dollar
realize
fifty.
for $2 you just sweat like a prostitute in church?
Yeah,
For $2, a $2 story, and you want $1,000,000 story? Give me a break.
yeah. I knew you were not gonna let it go, so I had to. The visual I was getting was as if I was giving somebody a hot potato, and I like kind of take it. Here we go, take it. It was, yeah. It was like we were playing hot potatoes. Wow.
Ooh, I don't want it anymore. You and this is how we don't, and this is how we say, I don't want the love. Now, the person that you told it to, was it a server or was it one of the owners?
She's the owner. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a sister.
Yep.
Okay, so now what's she telling her brother?
She's telling me, oh, he's doing it again. He's
And how
on
does that
something
make you
again.
feel? How does that make you feel?
Kind of on the spot there, but it's kind of sinking in to be good now.
So what are you doing again?
Sorry, what was that?
What are you doing again? She said he's doing it again. What is it? Tell me what you're doing again.
Giving people stuff that I don't know.
And you sounded so joyful in saying that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're breaking protocol. You're forcing people to have a new story.
Man, I'm forcing myself to have a new story. God damn it. I'm forcing
This is a
me.
$2 beer. It's a $2 beer that is potentially going to create tens of thousands of dollars for you.
I think it's $1.50, but don't hold my word against me on
Okay.
that.
Well, you'll give a tip even though they delivered it,
Let,
even though you
let's
didn't
just say
drink it.
it's two. Yeah, let's just say it's $2.
So for $2, you changed the lives of 4 people, yours, his, and those 2, for $2, cheaper than the oranges.
Yeah.
It's not. Listen, I can't teach from a book. I teach in real world. You know that. Which is the part that sucks for you.
One of us is always going to have fun.
One of us
Sometimes
is
maybe
always
both of
going to have
us.
fun. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes maybe both of us, man.
So
Yeah,
now
I
what do you
mean,
so here's the so here's the next thing, right? This is me playing out the depth, the 7 levels of deep. So what's the story the guy outside's going to tell?
I'm still yet to talk to him.
No, that's you didn't. Imagine you never talk to him. What's the story he's going to?
That's going to be a lot
Oh, you mean I
easier.
don't have to talk to him? No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
You technically said that. Imagine if you didn't. I'm just kidding. He's going to be like, well, there's this guy. I was at the lake today for whatever reason.
Which
He's
is a
kinda looking
better
at his
story.
phone.
Which is a better story than what he was going to tell. What was he going to tell? What's the story he was going to tell until you showed up in his world?
He was probably gonna forget about him sitting here and like, I mean, about dinner time probably.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna forget and yeah.
So didn't
Yeah.
you help him? Didn't you help him remember the moment? Do you think he's now going to have a lake story? Do you think he's going to have the Heart story, the name of the restaurant, Big Heart?
The Big Heart, yep.
Man, I was up at the Big Heart, and I was up at the and a guy had sent me a beer. It was the craziest thing ever. Now he's got the Big Heart story.
Yeah, well now he knows why they call it the Big Heart. Because yeah.
That's a better story than forgetting about it by dinner time, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, this guy's chilling and smoking cigars and whatnot. Yeah, this guy's chilling.
And you allowed him to chill just another little bit longer. See, if we don't infect the world we live in, we're the cause. We're the cancer. If we have the cure, how many of you believe you have the cure? I believe all of you have the cure. And if you don't share the cure, you're the cause. That's with big response, how's it go? With great power comes great responsibility. You have great power. The power he had in his hands that I kind of forced him into, the person that he was afraid to become, question number 6. That's what this is all about, question number 6. I just forced you to become the person you didn't want to think about.
Wow. Yeah, I had a blockage even trying to imagine this person, man. I couldn't really even kind of, picture this guy at all.
And this class cost you $2 and a lot of sweat, but $2. Doesn't have to take much, folks. You have to be present. And this is what a mentor does. What is the definition of a mentor? Helps you do things you didn't know you could do. I ain't a coach. I ain't a teacher. I teach, I coach, but I suck at those. I'm a great mentor. And I will take you kicking and screaming to the places you want to go. And I don't know why you have to kick and scream to go there, but you have to kick and scream. Have you watched his body move? That's called neuroencoding. And if you don't understand that, your teacher will say, well, sit still. Boys need to move around. We will always move around. So it's not anxiousness. That's just the body recalibrating itself. The whole left side of his body went like into paralysis. Let me see. And that's vulnerability. That's the female side. He was becoming vulnerable. Who sends a beer? What does he think? He's going to think I'm gay? What the hell is going on here? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly the course of action.
Now, and the reason that I know that is because that's culturally in Serbia. It's the same in Slovenia. Guys don't send guys beer. What are you, nuts? You don't know our culture. This ain't about culture. It's about humanity. It's about being a good human. I do know about being a good human.
So you think just because you have this mastermind that you're this smart guy that you think just because
It's because you're usually on target. You get to do it all the time.
yeah yeah kind of.
Kind of.
Listen, this was a much cheaper masterclass compared to the $185 they charged for me at the embassy. This is a lot better. Yeah. Wow. Good stuff.
So there's your answer to number 6. That's the person you're afraid of becoming. The one who can give freely and effortlessly. See, you're okay to give when there's people in need. That guy didn't need another beer, but you changed the state. You now have a $2 story that you get to tell for the rest of your life. He got a free beer. He gets to tell the story about the Big Hearts. I was up at the Big Heart. He will always tell that. How many of his friends do you think have ever been given a free beer in the middle of freaking nowhere?
I don't think that's happened.
So guess what he gets to do? He gets to brag.
Oh, he gets to be the special one. He gets to be recognized.
He gets
Okay.
to tell a story that somebody recognized him, and he now gets to be special in the eyes of other people. The special he probably already is, but very few people see him as that. There's the other side of the story. Maybe today was the day he was going to kill himself, and you made a difference. You'll never know. I hope you never know. But maybe this was the place he was going to come have his last beer and then drive his car into a ditch. That's why you have to follow these inklings. You're going to start getting these inklings. You're going to start getting these pulls. You're going to start getting these taps, God whispers. Follow them. Follow them. They will change your life in ways only God could put his hand on. Now, he could come in and throw the beer in your face. Wouldn't that even be a better story? How cool
Yeah.
would that story be? You'd never forget that. You'll forget a $2 beer story with all of the stories you're about to have. But if a guy comes in, I bought him a
Lagano, polako. Mi smo ovde izgleda specijalni, pošto nema niko nadi danas, ja radim odavde inače svaki dan. Malo specijalni, pa rekao, eto, malo da se poslužimo međusobno.
Look at his face.
Da, ono. Yeah, guess what? He came to the restaurant. I thought he was going to return the beer. See the shame kicking in? Fuck. I thought he was going to return, and he actually came on here. He was like,
To say
"Did you buy my
toast.
beer?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Toast. What did I do to deserve this?" And I said, "Well, the lake is empty. It's Friday. So I work from here every day. And the fact that you're in here on a working day as well means you're doing some good. So us special guys, we gotta keep it together. So cheers." And he said, "Thank you, thank you." So this is your home office? I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Thank you, cheers." And I said, "Cheers, buddy." So he actually came here to say thank. And you see how I immediately imagined he was gonna return the beer, and he came actually in here to say thank you. I did not even have to go to him. He came to me.
So let me help you remember your culture. Right? I'm going on Slovenia. When you toast somebody, you have to look them in the eye. Yeah. In the States, we don't do that. We go cheers and cheers, and you have to take a sip as soon as you say cheers.
No. In Serbia, you look somebody directly in the eye, you say cheers, and you sip together.
That's what I'm saying. So in the States, we clink and we'll set the glass down. In those cultures, in Slovenia, if you cheer and don't take a sip, you get yelled at. So he came in, he honored his. Do you see what he did? So you know he's from there. Who the hell gets up to walk in to drink and say salute to a beer? Thank you. Do you realize the honor you? I'm going to start crying. Do you realize the honor you gave him? He got to honor your culture by coming in to say cheers because he knew he had to. That's just it was in every cell in his body. Because you didn't do that with the first beer because you didn't buy it for him.
Yeah,
For
he bought it on
$2
his own.
For $2,
Yep,
you got to
$2.
awaken your country's culture of gratitude, of honor, and respect. Tell me this shit doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, here we go, folks. This $2 story that Sean and I are gonna sell for $1,000 as a training. Yeah,
You feel it?
yeah. I actually, lately I've been thinking about what you said to me a couple of weeks ago when you said to actually feel the people thanking you. And this, despite it's a cold day out there, even though it's May, despite it's a cold beer I bought him, I felt his thanks because he said, "What did I do to deserve this?" And I said, "Well, if you're in here on a working day, it means you're special. And I'm here every day, and I know I'm special. So us special guys, we gotta keep together." And he said, cheers, and he sipped on it. Yeah, let's go. And yeah, so that's very interesting.
But do you think he's going to tell the story again?
He's definitely gonna tell the story again.
Do you
'Cause
think
I'm
you've impacted the families that you'll never get to meet?
I'm gonna tell the story again.
Yeah, but how about him? If he tells the story, do you think they're all going to smile and laugh and ask him what he did and tell us more? And
Yeah, I think they're gonna be intrigued.
yeah, so now you're in rooms you've never been in.
Oh, this is the transference of wealth. It
Give
only
them
cost
more
you
in
two
use
bucks.
value. Give them more in use value than they did in cost value.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
This is called the advancing man. Son of a biscuit eater, all from a table that's been the same table that'll now never be the same table.
Yeah, let me I actually have one already from the OS, but let's just make it work here. Actually, let me try. Oh, let me try to catch this guy as well. Okay, that's gonna work. I
So
caught
how
that
did it
guy as
feel?
well.
So how did it feel once you realized he wasn't coming to throw the beer in your face?
I was on my toes for a couple of seconds there. I was like, is this guy gonna?
Now, here's the Paul Harvey rest of the story. How many of us, listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, how many of us want to give, and we want to give something maybe more valuable than a beer, definitely more expensive than a beer, our time, our products, our services. And if this guy says, what did I do to deserve a beer? What do you think people are going to say when you offer them your gift? AJ's not the beer. He gave a gift. What happens when AJ offers his gift? Instant rejection. We feel, oh my God, nobody wants my gift. This guy was arguing over a beer. He was, and it wasn't argue. Listen very carefully. It wasn't argue. What did I do to deserve this? In happiness and joy, nobody's ever, who am I so special to get up and walk in? Talk about the courage it takes to publicly speak. Somebody who's in their 50s to say, do I even deserve this? Because the other scenario was as he turned, hollered through the window and went, Havala, Prost. But he didn't. He got up to figure out, I got to figure out, somebody thinks I'm special and I need to know who is freaking crazy. This is the Paul Harvey rest of the story.
Yeah, he said that in
why
those
did I
exact
deserve
words.
this?
He said that in those exact words. Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you said, hey, listen, you and I are the only ones here. This is my home office. If you're here, you're doing something special in life. Us special guys got to hang together, which that probably went in one ear and out the other because he didn't think he's special. But you're probably the first person in 50 years who told him he's special. And the only thing he could do is say thank you. And the best gift you gave him today was to receive the thank you. instead of not a problem. Oh, that guy's a dick. Give me a beer. You allowed him to enjoy that beer because he knows he's special. And there's somebody else who recognized him for that. Nobody in 50 years has ever recognized him for being special. His whole life has changed for the moment. That's infecting your world with what you want.
Yes, but, and this is a perfect scenario to use the word but, in my DMP, in one of the paragraphs, it clearly states that I bring value to people with hope that even the smallest acts of kindness can inspire lasting transformation. That's what my DMP states.
So you were given a chance to do it, didn't even know it existed. And soon as you decided to act on your DMP, shame showed up. Not, I don't have the money. Not, they ran out of beer. Not, there's no plate. They ran out of glasses. Not, they closed the restaurant. There was no excuse except the shame you came up with until you said, he's not letting me off the hook. And I don't want to get beaten up anymore. So I'm just going to do it. We'll see. I hope it goes freaking screwy wrong so that there's a part of
I show him that he's wrong. Yeah, but what I love about this, because I know you're going to ask what I learned, what I love. What I love about this is that you know, we've been working together for quite some time now, and you know exactly what language and what strings to pull and what keys to hit, so that you know that I'll do it, and because you know it's for my benefit. By the way, I just looked at my journal, and what it says exactly is, I quote, "By sharing what I have, I transfer my wealth into others, deepen my gratitude, and remind myself that even the smallest acts of kindness can spark lasting hope in others, so that together we stand stronger." That's what my DMP says, word for word, in a paragraph. And that's exactly
so
what
you
happened.
lived it. You lived it and didn't know you were going to live it like that. But
I
this
lived
is how
it.
this is how this is how the universe gives you a chance and says, these opportunities exist everywhere. For $2, you can change your life. But we think it needs to be monumental, thousands and thousands of dollars. It needs to be epic. It needs to be Nobel Peace Prize. Well, maybe, just maybe, you created a peace prize that is Nobel worthy that no one will never know about. All for a story at the Big Heart. There he goes, doing it again. You're damn right I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again and again and again. My goal in life is for them to say, he's doing it again, he's doing it again, he's doing it again. I want them to put a plaque on your table that says, he's doing it again.
I have a plaque already.
I know you have a
It's
plaque that
reserved,
says reserved.
buddy. It's reserved up in here. So good stuff this morning, man.
Yeah, so what did you learn? What'd you like?
Oh, we're not done yet. I think
Now we're done. What'd you learn?
I think Michelle. I think I heard Michelle calling you out on the.
I think the sheep are out.
You need to do something around the sheep. I think I heard Michelle in the background. Okay. What I learned is that it doesn't really have to be monumental. Doesn't really have to be world changing overnight. Doesn't have to be really, millions and billions and trillions and whatnot. It could it could be that someday. I'm definitely.
It was life changing and world changing today. This is about as big world changing as you've ever done. This is about as big world changing as you've ever done. You have to admit that. I'm going to say this is one of the biggest things you've ever done for you.
To get out of my comfort zone, definitely.
So
yeah,
and it was a $2 bill. So it is life changing, which it just doesn't have to cost a lot of money. This cost you your identity. This cost you the biggest thing that was holding you back from question number 6. It cost you your identity. Nobody does that here. AJ does. He's nuts. He's a lunatic.
he's been to the promised land.
He's been to the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs land.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And
well, that's what I
so
learned.
It has changed your identity forever. Forever. You could be with friends now and you see a guy sitting outside and you go, hey, listen. And they know that's to go bring them. It's like, he does this every time. Some guy's sitting out there, some gal sitting out there by themselves. And it's just a, hey, listen, welcome to the lake. Now, the problem is, this is what having owned a restaurant, I would buy everybody's meal on a slow Monday night. Guess how packed the restaurant was next Monday? Everybody thinking I was going to buy their meal.
Well, that's
Yeah, that's a whole
sales
nother
tactic.
story. So it was life changing and it was world changing and it didn't cost trillions and billions, but it could make it.
Yeah.
So yes. So you changed your world today. That's what you learned. So what'd you like?
I loved
Yep.
the fact that I got to see what's on the other side in terms of I was scared, I was skeptic, I didn't know what the guy was gonna say. I said to myself, I mean, even when as he was walking to the front door, I thought he was gonna return it, or I thought he was gonna, give me some smack or whatever. But that was my initial thought, and he just came along and did for me, from my point of view, he did the unpredictable. He did the impossible. He came along and he asked me what did I do to deserve this, and I said, you did nothing. You're just special, just like me, and that's it. And we had a wholesome interaction, and he came back and he's sipping on it right now, and yeah, he's sipping on it right now. He's looking away farther in the water, maybe thinking about something or whatever. And what I loved is the fact that it's the other side is really rewarding. It's really wholesome on the other side. And another thing I both learned and loved is the fact that it doesn't take a lot of effort to cross the line to the other side. It's not gonna cost you money wise, not gonna cost you anything. I mean, it's $2. I don't give a shit about $2. And it's not gonna take like, listen, nobody's gonna come and rip your limbs out, right? Like the world is not gonna end, nothing like that. And you get to experience that, and you get to share a moment with someone. I might never see this guy ever again, but what I did for him and what I did for me was even more important, I think.
But for a moment, this guy was seen.
Yeah.
And that changed his life.
I was able to make him feel seen and important and recognized, and
So
I think all of us want that.
Isn't it important to leave our mark? Too many people go silently through the world, never leaving their mark. I'd offer you all the opportunity to change that. Now, here's the next level. When you leave today, is it Mary? What's her name if you were to translate it to English? The sister's name.
There's no English translation. It's Vesna.
Vesna. So when you leave, tell Vesna, hey, thank you for doing that. You really made my day. The way you gave him the beer, whatever you said to him when you gave him the beer, thank you. Because he came in to thank me. So that only happened because of you. And that changed my day forever. That's changed. It was a wonderful experience. And I just wanted to thank you for being a part of that. Build her up again. Take her to the next level, because they think you're on the outside. They think they're part of your world. They don't know that they're in your world. Bring them into your world. I know they know they're in there, but today she was outside of your world. Do you want me to do what? Where? Who? Where? How?
Yeah.
And let them all know they're part of the scheme. They're part of this plan to change, to make the big heart all of Serbia.
She was at his table, and she was giving him the beer. I kind of saw her face, but I was trying to looking at the computer. So if she, I saw her pointing at me, but I was kind of focused on the computer, so I don't kind of see anything that's going on apart from screen. And it was literally the hot potato game, because I told her to do it. She was kind of, do I really do that? Or I said, yeah. So she went out there and she probably just like dumped it on the table and she was like, "Oh, it's from that guy. See ya. I'm out of here."
Not my
So,
fault.
yeah.
Here's your free beer.
Uh, yeah, not my fault. That's crazy. That's really crazy, man.
But this is the other side. This is the part of humanity you now get to see. And this is what I've done for decades, is witness what happens as it happens so that you can see the human personalities and you start to see who you are speak so loud. I don't need to hear what you're saying. So nice work today. Congratulations. You need to JM3
Yeah.
yourself. That's today was one of the biggest breakthroughs and break frees you'll have experienced, because it was your first one. And you were absolutely forced, kicking and screaming and without raising an eyebrow, but you're like, he thinks he's tough. I'll show him who's tough. I'm going to do this. I don't give a rat's ass what happens. I'm ready for the fight. I'll do it.
Yeah, just like I said, I mean, we've built a relationship up to a certain point where I know you're not gonna let me off the hook, and you know
Right.
you're not gonna let me off the hook, and in return, you also know exactly what buttons to punch on to get me triggered into doing so not to trigger me in a bad way, but to trigger me into doing something that you know is gonna be good for me. I just don't see it yet. But again, in the other return, when I cross to the other side, we've done so much work that I get to experience the other side, and I get to be aware of that. It was actually a good thing for me to do that. And
So,
I think that's the part I'm most proud of regarding our work
so
so
here's
far.
the thing. It's not that I wasn't going to let you off the hook. I took you off the hook. Because now you have a level of freedom you didn't have before. People want to keep you on the hook. I don't want you on the hook. What I do for you is to help you get off the hook.
Well,
And that's a
there you
wrap.
go, folks. That's a wrap. That's the pitch and that's the swing. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, I guess. I'm just kidding. Okay. Thank you. This was
Good.
this was some good work today.
Yep. And all because of question 6. Now you can go answer question 6.
Now I'm gonna spend the next half an hour journaling and answering the question 6, because I want to I really want to bottle up this feeling, so
Yep,
that
do
when
it.
the next time I read my entry, I can kind of explore the feeling again. You know.
Write
And
down all the words he said.
just another reminder.
Go ahead.
Monday and yesterday, I need to.
Yes, you'll have them here momentarily.
I'm not gonna let you off the hook for that.
Good. That one is keeping me on the hook. I love it. I got to get myself off. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. From a $2 beer to a $1 million story. I'm your head brain training. Give that guy a beer, misfit. I'll see y'all where?
The next event.
Next event. No call tomorrow. No call Saturday. So you're all free Saturday. I hope you have an incredible, fun-filled day. Yeah, enjoy yourself. Work on yourself as often as you can and see what $2 stories you can come up with. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. We love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us.
Peace be with us all. And the queen of helping you find your story. I know, Dubby. Jessie Lee Ward.
Boss Lee.
Boss Lee,
We love
baby.
you, girl. And a little white fluffy.
Gurgly.
Gurgly.
All right, everybody, go have some fun. We'll see you on Monday. Monday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Thank you,
AJ.
AJ.
Peace,
Thank
family.
you, AJ. Thank you, Sean.
Love you guys.
Oof, rah, rah.